Okay, so here are my thoughts on the information that it's out there on the all-new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee WL. And at least this is the prototype, that because some pictures have surfaced the web, and well, we have some presumably prototypes of the Grand Cherokee. By the way, this information, I'm getting this information from a website called Mopar Insiders, which is pretty cool. By the way, you should check it out. I think I'm gonna link down below the website, so you can check out the article. And this is me basically not breaking down, but sort of like doing a breakdown of the article and basically giving my opinions, because the Grand Cherokee, it's a vehicle that I actually like a lot, and I know many people like it because they sell very well somehow, which is weird because it's a very old vehicle and somehow they managed to sell well. In fact, I think it was in May that they had an all-time best-selling month this year for a vehicle that is very old. And it's just not the fact that it's very old and is that it is a very old vehicle, it's the fact that that vehicle is based on an older platform. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, the all new 2021 Jeep Grand Cherokee. Okay, what we have here is the information that we know so far and that we believe to be true according to the sources of, once again, Mopar Insiders, is that it's going to be based on the Giorgio architecture, same architecture or same platform from the Alfa Romeo Stelvio and the Alfa Romeo Giulia. I think Jeep or FCA confirmed this themselves. That's not surprising. They're gonna make this is a modular platform, and that's a very cost-effective measure to share the platform and like modify it and adapt it to each different vehicles. Apparently, this is according to Mopar Insider's sources. There will be two versions of the Grand Cherokee, and this is when it gets kind of weird. There's gonna be a two-row version codenamed WL74, and there's gonna be a three-row version codenamed WL75. They don't know, and we basically anybody so far knows if they're gonna share the same nameplate, if they're gonna say, I mean, they're gonna basically be the same vehicle. I don't know if you remember way back then the Chevrolet Trailblazer, they had a longer wheel version and it was pretty much the same. The Suburban and the Expedition, they have longer wheel versions. Of course, they are full-size SUVs. This is supposed to be a mid-size SUV, which is something kind of funny. I've always considered either the Grand Cherokee and the Dodge Durango to be like sort of like big to be mid-size, but then kind of small to be full-size. But I don't know, I don't care. Grand Cherokee sells very well anyway. Continuing, it's gonna be same basic exterior and interior design. It's just gonna be longer wheelbase, which is weird because I mean, this is something that I've thought many, like long ago. You see the 4Runner, they have a three-row version of the 4Runner, and it's not another version of a vehicle. I think it's available on the Limited, and I don't know if the SR5s are available too, but it's the same vehicle. It's an option that you get. You see the Ford Explorer, they have a three-row version. Long ago they had, and they have been offering that option. So I don't know why. I mean, of course, this is gonna be make it more comfortable, more practical, more easy to get, just better access to the third row. But I don't know why the Grand Cherokee can just get a three-row version. Like, why is the 4Runner does offer that? Same for the Ford Explorer. Why they have to go with a longer wheel version? It's like, it's more hassle, you know. It's like more not problems, but it's like, well, when it comes to production lines, it's gonna be like more complicated, or a little bit at least. I don't know why they have to go that way. It's honestly, it's kind of weird to me. Anyway, it is expected, at least to sources, according to the sources, it is expected to come with the all new GME T6 inline, you hear me right, inline 6-cylinder turbocharged engine. Apparently the 5.7 liter Hemi and the EcoDiesel 3.0 liter V6 are gonna be available. Probably they're gonna have an e-torque option. That is to be expected. I think there's not gonna be there's no surprises there. That's gonna be an option, and it's gonna be, I think, or at least I hope, that it's gonna be better optimized than the ones offered on the Rams, the Ram trucks, pickup trucks, because they have more time to develop it. They can learn what they did not so well on the Rams, and not like the Ram e-torque is bad. It's just that you implement a new technology and you learn down the road, basically. Apparently a CF source 8-speed automatic transmission. Again, something not very surprising. A rotary dial, possibly in the dashboard, I don't know, or the center console. Back again, this is new technology, that not actually new technology, but this is new trends that were introduced with the Ram truck, because especially when it comes to trucks and SUVs, you want practicality. You want the more space that you can get, and the shift lever, they can get on the way. Like, you can use that space for a storage console, or I don't know, whatever else. And column shifters, they're not that luxury, I think. The only car I think that just right up my mind that has that still is the Escalade, and that looks awful. Like, it's not luxurious at all. So anyway, it's not surprises there. Rotary dial, get used to, or even buttons. We'll just have to get used to that. More things, okay? A new, much more modern dash layout. Like, the whole layout, it's gonna be completely different, which is of course expected because it's a whole new vehicle, all new platform. So yeah, new layout. Apparently they're gonna have a 7-inch TFT, which stands for thin film transistor screen in the gauge cluster. So I don't think they're gonna have like the speedometer like that. That's all gonna be configurable, although now that I think about it, like maybe 7 inches are gonna be like sort of on the small size for that. Anyway, we'll have to see. The entire infotainment system will be revamped too, of course. Something surprising for me, at least. Apparently they're not gonna have the 12-inch screen featured on the Ram trucks. They're gonna have a 10.1 inch TFT in the more upscale models. This is kind of surprising. Like, that 12-inch, he made a huge splash on the truck war. It could also do the same on the SUV war. So I'm kind of surprised that if they don't use that 12-inch display. 7-inch and 8.4 inches Uconnect touchscreens with new bezels for the not so upscale models, I think, and possibly a new Uconnect heads-up display. Which, once again, there are gonna be a lot of things that are gonna be completely new. Something very interesting, and I'm gonna talk more about this later. But there's gonna be a Trailhawk version with a new generation of air suspension, according to sources, of course. It's gonna feature faster rising and lowering times, of course, for quick transitions of road. I don't know if it's gonna be if there's gonna be like a dynamic system, kind of like the G wagon or the Ford. I think the G wagon or the Cullinan. I think for sure the Rolls Royce Cullinan and the Ford Raptor, they have adaptive suspension. The Cullinan has a system that scans the terrain and adjust the suspension on the fly. Maybe this is gonna be something similar. I don't know. The Ford Raptor, the new ones, they have adaptive shocks, which is cool, by the way. Of course, more aggressive off-road modes, controlled through a rotary terrain selector, which will manage the air suspension. Hill descent control and terrain select. Nah, not big surprise there. That's very common, especially from the Grand Cherokee. More under armoring to help protect the drivetrain. Once again, I may touch on this a little bit later on the video. Well, apparently comfort, which is to be expected, will be a massive improvement. More comfort from the seats layout and possibly an optional massage function for the front seats, which is very cool again. More refinement, more modern dash layout. Apparently this is something that is going to be very interesting. It just got my attention. Climate vents that are going to run lengthwise along the dash and it's gonna have a bigger cabin field. A bigger cabin field. That's gonna be very interesting. Those climate vents, like running lengthwise, that's gonna be that. I want to see that. I really want to see that. And of course, it's expected to officially debut at the 2020 North American International Auto Show in Detroit in June 9th and 10th. By the way, this is going to be the first time that Detroit Auto Show is going to be it's going to take place on June, because it usually was on January, I think, or February. I don't remember exactly. I think it was January, just the beginning of the year, pretty much. So yeah, there's that. Now, things that are interesting to me from this information, because this is just, by the way, this is not confirmed. This is from sources. This information can very well vary. Maybe we'll have just one version. I don't know. It's just maybe. Anyway, there are so many interesting things to me here. Like, seriously, many interesting things. For once, or for starters, I should say, for starters, the sources that are giving this information are talking about a Trailhawk version with a new generation of air suspension. And the point here is not the air suspension, it's the Trailhawk version. I don't know the specific sales numbers of the Grand Cherokee, like the breakdown numbers. I know they do sell very well. They have been quite a while, for over, I think, 3 years in a row or something like that, over 200,000 units, which is a lot. I mean, that's a lot, especially for such an old vehicle. Other than that, I don't know the specific breakdown numbers. I don't know how much each version sells. But this is something kind of alarming to some extent, but it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. And what I mean by this is that the Halo Grand Cherokee right now is the Trailhawk. It's not the Trailhawk. It's the Trackhawk, right? By the way, I think they're gonna make a Towhawk version of this. Nah, I'm just kidding. There's no Towhawk. That doesn't exist. Anyway, that's just me kidding. But what's interesting to me, this makes sense, is that if the source is giving this information, it's because they may have been doing a lot of effort and just a lot of effort on the Trailhawk version, which we know that is the off-road, more capable version of the Grand Cherokee. They have the Overland, which is more like a luxury version, and they all offered. I think they're all offered 4x4s, but the specific off-road version is the Trailhawk. And if the sources is not telling, hey, the SRT is gonna feature this, that the Trackhawk is gonna, no, they're saying they're the Trailhawk. So I think that they're gonna pay a lot of attention to the Trailhawk, because in the current generation, the Trailhawk was, I mean, it's cool, and I've seen some on Instagram, like some users modifying their Grand Cherokee Trailhawks. But the Trailhawks on this generation, on the current one, is sort of like an afterthought. That was something that they had to do, but it wasn't meant to be. And I think it was going to be something more, not more real, but it's going to be something better on this generation. It's going to be planned from the beginning of the development of the platform, I think. And that makes sense, because when you see the numbers that the TRD Pros are selling, the sale numbers of the Jeep Wrangler, the sale numbers of the Ford Raptor, I mean, off-road vehicles, trucks and SUVs, they are on the height. People are getting a lot of off-road vehicles. That's just to develop, like, fully commit to the development of a Trailhawk version makes a lot of sense. And I know, by the way, for a fact, but not for a fact because I don't have the actual numbers, but I think, and I think I'm pretty right here, but I think the Trackhawk, which is the 700 horsepower version of the Grand Cherokee, is not selling very well. And I don't know how well or not so well might the SRT model be selling. Like, those are sport versions, and don't get me wrong, I like sports vehicles. I like speed, but they are not selling that well right now. Right now, everyone is getting into the rock crawling, overland, especially the overlands. And I think the Grand Cherokees are gonna be like if they develop a right quality version of the Trailhawk, that's gonna be like a very good vehicle for overland. Because for overlanding, you kind of wanna go for more space than off-road ability. Because when it comes to overlanding, it all comes down to, to convenience. And yeah, you have to have some off-road ability, but it's not that critical anyway. So this Trailhawk version, I mean, the information is popping out on this version. They might be doing something very serious with that Trailhawk version. It's gonna be something important on the new Grand Cherokee lineup. Otherwise, you wouldn't get information on the Summit or the Overland or the SRT or the Trackhawk or whatever else. I don't think there's gonna be a Trackhawk version for the all new 2021. And I'm not quite sure about the SRT version, because once again, I don't have the breakdown numbers. I don't know how well they sell. So, but I know that overall off-road vehicles are selling very, very well right now. So there's that. Other thing that's interesting to me, the possible two versions. I mean, why? Just why? Why two versions of the Grand Cherokee? Why? I mean, and is it gonna be the same nameplate? Because they're not even sure. Is it gonna be like a Wagoneer? Is it gonna be like a 3-row version of the Grand Cherokee? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do there. Anyway, that is interesting because the Grand Cherokee currently have a lot of versions. They have the Laredo, they have Limited, they have the High Country, the High Altitude, the SRT, the Trackhawk, the Trailhawk, the Summit, the Overland. They have like 11 versions of the same vehicle or something like that. So yeah, it may vary from one to another, but having two different chassis lengths, I don't know, that's just weird. I think that's just weird. this might suggest, because by the way, I'm taking the pictures from another website. These pictures are not from Mopar Insiders. The pictures are from a website called Motor One, and they are not sure if these prototypes correspond to the Grand Cherokee or the Wagoneer, because we know for a fact that we are gonna have a Wagoneer and there's gonna be a two version, and I don't know if those two versions involve 2 roads or 3 roads. I guess they're gonna all be 3 roads. Possibly they go the same route as the Expedition and the Suburban, having like a 3 road normal wheelbase and then having like another 3 row longer wheelbase, and possibly the normal wheelbase would be the Wagoneer, and then the longer one would be the Grand Wagoneer. Or I don't know if there's gonna be like a normal one and then a luxury one, because the Grand Wagoneer is supposed to compete with the Range Rover, which is weird to me because the Grand Cherokee, I don't know, it's just weird to me. But anyway, something tells me that off-road it's gonna be something important in this generation, which it makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. Jeep makes off-road vehicles anyway, so yeah, it's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's gonna be it for now. I'll be updating if I get more information, either on the new Corvette or the Ram Rebel, which I'm expecting to see as well, and of course the Grand Cherokee and other vehicles. So if you can, if it's not too much trouble, please subscribe. I'm just starting this channel, so there's not a lot of videos, and there's not a lot right now. There's gonna be more in the future. So please stay tuned and give me a like if you can. That would be awesome. Thanks.